Hey everyone, it's Balance. So, this time around with this video, I'll talk more about the conceptualization of this video more than how I actually put the keyboard together. I think that will be more interesting than anything. Anyway, I'm back with another keyboard video. This time, however, I was asked by a friend to build one for her, Kitemist. Her reasoning for getting a new keyboard has to do with the fact that she started getting into a role-playing community in Final Fantasy XIV, an MMORPG developed by Square Enix. At a certain point, they were saying how their old keyboard started to cause a bit of strain when typing. There were some keys that felt like it needed some extra effort to press, the space bars get stuck at certain angles, and a whole slew of random issues that probably came to rise to the increased necessity of typing. The problem is understandable, and that's not to say it's because cheaper keyboards are inherently bad. It's just like with anything else, the quality matches the price you pay. A lot of old gamer keyboards used to focus on function rather than the typing experience, which makes sense. However, Kitemist needed something different, because now her keyboard needed to be a reliable typing tool. She wanted a keyboard to create new stories and lasting connections, making connections through stories, and stories through connections. An example she gave was Violet Evergarden, a character who learns how to understand people's emotions and convey them into the written word. Understanding people's hearts, the people they love, learning how to heal from pain, all through writing letters on a typewriter. With that story in mind, I was able to get to work constructing a keyboard just for Kitemist. The idea with the whole keyboard used Violet Evergarden as inspiration. I went with a silver color so that it would be similar to the typewriter that Violet uses. For the switches, I chose the fog variant due to how Kitemist's life had felt to me. All the uncertainties and frustration from the lack of vision that life has thrown at her. Then finally, the keycaps, Auroras. My vision was that the Aurora would be the guiding lights that would break through the fog. Not only would they break through, but it's beautiful. With colors as vibrant as Violet's eyes, filled with constellations that all have their own stories, much like the ones Kitemist will ultimately tell. Auroras are also often symbols of hope and renewal, a fitting theme for Violet, as that hope is what guided her and ultimately renewed her soul. Something that I think is fitting for Kitemist as well. I might be overstepping a little bit with my interpretation of this, but I like to look at it as a nice reminder to just always keep hope, no matter what life throws at you. For the base, I chose the silver Monsgeek M3 TKL. It has a nice smooth aluminum CNC case and comes with a polycarbonate plate to help offer a bit of a deeper sound when typing. Since this keyboard also came with south-facing LEDs, I knew that no matter which keycaps I went with, the lighting would not be wasted. It also came with a foam kit, making it easy for me to customize the keyboard's acoustics to how I wanted. Well, in this case, it didn't matter because I had to make it to how Kitemist wanted, but I don't think they would have minded either way. I may as well talk about what I did to put this keyboard together. Around the beginning of the video where I put the black tape near the scrolls, these things right here. That is using a mod called the Force Break mod. The purpose of this mod is to prevent the pinging sound that's created from metal keyboards. This is achieved by adding cushioning around the contact points from the upper and lower housing of the keyboard. That's why these are placed near the screw holes that I mentioned before. Now what I'm doing here is called the Tempest mod, or more commonly known as the tape mod. Normally, you would use the blue masking tape and apply it to the back of the PCB board. The reason for this is because it modifies the sound from the typing to create how most people describe as a marbly sound. This adhesive kit that was provided was supposed to be used for that effect. However, I thought it was a little awkward to use at first. I was honestly unsure about it as it kept making wrinkling sounds that I was not too fond of. However, after putting the keyboard together, everything ended up okay, so it wasn't that big of a deal. Anyway, for the switches, I chose the Wuque Studio Aurora Fog. This particular variant are linear switches. The top housing is a polycarbonate material while the bottom housing is nylon. The stem is made out of palm. The total travel of this switch is 3.8 millimeters with an actuation of 1.9 millimeters, give or take 0.5 millimeters. The action force is 53 grams, give or take 5, with a bottom out force of 63.5 grams. I went with this switch because I wanted something that wouldn't cause too much strain for Kitemist. With a lower actuation force, I figured this would help with that. Plus,
better gamer reaction speeds for Final Fantasy 14 lanes!
Jokes aside, since it sounded like Kitemist tends to bottom out, I figured that the linear switches wouldn't pose that much of a problem. Hitting the bottom of the switch would be enough tactility for her. These switches are not factory lubed, unfortunately, so I had to spend 8+ hours lubing every single one of them. Then finally for the keycaps, I went with the Traitors Aurora PPT keycap set. Since these keycaps are using the PPT plastic, there should be no oil residue that will be seen on the keycaps. They should last a long time for Kitemist. Now, some of you might ask, what's the point of purchasing a keyboard that can easily range over $200 for a custom one? Honestly, if I had not gotten one for myself, I'd be right there with you. It really is one of those things where you just need to give it a try. Once you use a keyboard like the one I'm making for Kitemist, your perspective will change completely. I can't emphasize just how nice it feels to type on a custom keyboard. If you're someone who types a lot every single day, then you'll definitely appreciate just how nice it feels to type on a keyboard where every button is smooth and comfortable. In any case, here's a typing test on the now fully assembled keyboard. I hope you enjoy. And with that, we have another completed keyboard. I do hope that this keyboard will serve its purposes for you, Kitemist, in creating the stories that you desire. Thanks everyone for watching. If you could like, subscribe, and all that jazz, that would be wonderful. With that said, thank you again, and I'll see you next time. See ya.